14.4 is called Law of Cosines, where we're given a triangle that looks similar to the law of sines triangle, so we don't have a right triangle, and we're looking for missing sides and angles, but we don't have an angle and an opposite side. So in this example, we are given one angle, but we're looking for the opposite side of B, and we're given two side lengths, but we don't have those opposite angles, so we can't use law of sines here. So what we're going to do is start with our law of cosines, and I'm going to choose our middle one with b squared and cosine of angle B, because we're given angle B in our first equation. If we are given angle A, we can use the first one. If we are given angle C, we can use the third one. But I'm going to use this middle one. So small b is our side length opposite angle B. Small a is going to be opposite angle A, so we have 8. Small c is going to be 10, and angle B is 81. So we're going to go b squared equals a squared plus c squared minus 2ac times cosine of angle B. And then you just plug in what we know. So we're looking for b squared, so that stays the same. Opposite of a is 8, so we have 8 squared plus opposite of c is 10 squared minus 2 times 8 times 10 again times cosine of b, so cosine of 81. Yes, these end up getting long and kind of wordy, so give yourself room. And then you just continue to simplify. So you get b squared equals 64 plus 100 minus 160 times cosine 81. An important thing to remember as you're going through these is that the 160 is multiplied by the cosine of 81. You can't add these together, so 164 and then subtract 160, because this is its own unit. So as we simplify, we're going to go b squared equals 164 minus 160 times the cosine of 81. And this whole thing is what we're going to plug into our calculator to figure out what b squared is equal to. We're not going to subtract the 164 from the 160. So on our calculator, 164 minus 160 times the cosine of 81 equals 138.97. So b squared equals 138.97. And then we have b squared. Let's take the square root of both sides. Get 11.79. So side length b equals 11.79. So that's the first step to find the first missing side. Now we need to find our two missing angles. To do that, to save us some time from doing law of cosines again, I'm just going to use law of sines, because now we have an angle and its opposite side. So I'm going to say sine of 81 over side length opposite that, so 11.79, which is what we just found, equals, I'll just solve for a first, sine of angle A over side length across from that, so over 8. And then it's like we were doing with law of sines. We cross multiply to solve for angle A. So 11.79 times sine A equals 8 times sine 81. Then divide both sides by 11.79. You get sine A equals 8 times sine 81 over 11.79. I'm going to move this way to give myself a little bit more room. So since we have to find an angle, we have to use the inverse sine. So I'm going to rewrite this as sine inverse of this whole fraction that we just found, this whole ratio. So 8 times sine 81 all over 11.79. And that's going to equal the measure of angle A. put that in our calculators. Go second sine, do parentheses again, 8 times sine 81, close that parentheses, divided by 11.79, you get 42.1. So the measure of angle A equals, what did I say, 42.1? 42.1. So step 1 was law of cosines. Step 2 was law of sines to find A. So 42.1 degrees. And then step 3 is to find C, and we know that they all add up to 180. So we can say the measure of angle C equals 180 minus 81 minus 42.1 degrees. Put that into your calculator. You get 56.9. So the measure of angle C equals 56.9 degrees. That goes right here. Okay, so here's another example of law of cosines, but this time you're given 3 side lengths and no angles, so we have to find all 3 angles. So we definitely can't use law of sines because we don't have any angles. So remember, angle A, the side length opposite that, is going to be side length A. Angle B, the side length opposite that, is going to be side length B. Angle C, the side length opposite that, is side length C. And that'll help us when we're filling out our law of cosines to find our first angle. So let's find angle A first. So we're going to start with angle A. So I'm going to use the law of cosines for A. So we know that A squared equals B squared plus C squared minus 2BC times the cosine of angle A. So angle A is what we're going to be looking for. So we have all the other pieces right now. So we have 22 squared equals, B is 28, plus 15 squared minus 2 times 28 times 15 times cosine of A. It just keeps simplifying. So 22 squared, so we have 484 equals 28 squared, 784 plus
225.
225. Thank you. 2 times 28 times 15 minus 840 times cosine of angle A. So as we're going through this, remember, negative 840 is multiplied by cosine of angle A. So we can't subtract that off of these two. We're going to add 784 and 225, but leave this as unit and then divide it later. So 784 plus 225 equals 1009, so we have 484 equals 1009 minus 840 times cosine of angle A. Subtract the 1009 from both sides. So 484 divided by 1009 equals negative 525 equals negative 840 times cosine A. And now we divide both sides by negative 840. So, to make this cleaner, we can say, I'm just going to make those both positive because we have a negative divided by negative. 525 divided by 840 equals cosine of angle A. And now since we're looking for the angle, we have to use the inverse cosine. With this as our ratio, we're just working with big numbers, but it's still a fraction. So we rewrite this as cosine inverse of 525 divided by 840 equals calculator. Second cosine, 525 divided by 840 equals 51.32 degrees. So that would be the measure of angle A over here. So just like we did the last problem. Okay, to find angle 2, we're going to use law of sines this time because it's a lot less steps. Law of cosines is kind of wordy, but most important thing, choose the angle that is across from either the small or the middle side. So we're going to choose side or angle C because it's across from the smaller side. We're not going to look for angle B because it is an obtuse angle and it's across from the larger side. So it's not going to work. And I'm not going to go into why it doesn't work. Ask Mr. Forrest Higgins if you'd like to. But we decided to make the video shorter, so you're welcome. I messed up originally, which is why we had to redo it. But that's okay. So sine of angle A, so 51.32 over 22, which is side length A, equals sine C over 15. So cross multiply, so you get 22 times sine C equals 15 sine 51.32, then divide both sides by 22, and you get sine C equals 15 times sine 51.32 over 22. And since we're looking for angle C, we have to write it as an inverse function. So we're going to rewrite it as sine inverse of our big old fraction right here. 15 times sine 51.32 over 22 equals the measure of angle C. Should get 32.16. You get something like 44, you did something wrong. Alright, C, 32.16. And now to find angle B, the three angles have to add up to 180. So 180 minus 51.32 minus 32.16. I typed that in wrong. Take two. 51.32. 96.52 degrees. So check to make sure that makes sense. Our largest angles cross from the largest side, smallest angles cross from the smaller side, medium angles cross from the medium side. And that is it.
Not yet.
Not yet.
Mr. Higgins has one little question.
Mr. Higgins has a
For
question.
those of you that actually watch this to the end, if you email me with where Forrest Higgins went to college and what sport he played at the college he went to, you can receive 1 extra credit point. Have a great day.